So I just wanted to show you this concept that I'm doing. I just barely started working it out. This is an idea I've had in my head for a while, and I shared with this idea a little bit in one of my other videos. But this is the concept of gravity-fed water. I took an idea that other countries do already. They've been doing it for a long time. Is that they have a water tank on top of the complex of a apartment building or their own homes. Is that they already have a reserve tank in their house or above their house on the roof or something. And so if the city water goes out or whatever, they still have access to water until they can repair whatever they need to repair, or whenever, you know, the storm or whatever catastrophe they have, they can still have water. And so I took this idea and I wanted to do a miniature concept of it in this tiny house shed thing. And so I've got this RV tank up there. It's 37 gallons, and there's a few benefits that you get from that. And basically, of course, it's gravity fed, and you don't have to worry about water pressure or getting a water pump or electricity to work the pump or anything like that. So it eliminates those things. Plus, since it's up there, it's going to adapt. The temperature of the water in there is going to adapt to whatever temperature is up in the loft. And since it is up in the loft, it's going to be still a little bit warmer than just the ambient temperature down on ground level. So it's utilizing that temperature that's already up there. So that temperature in and of itself may be comfortable enough just to use, and you won't need a little water heater at all. And that's what I'm going to test. But I do want a little water heater on there just to have, and for added luxury, I guess. But this is not a gravity fed water tankless water heater thing, and that's what I was trying to look for online. That doesn't exist, but at least as far as what I've seen. But this is the closest I was trying to get to with that concept. Basically, I just wanted a cold inlet on the top, and then the hot inlet or outlet on the bottom. So then the gravity just kind of, as it flows through, it turns it on, and it just. But this is the closest I can get. But the problem is the cold inlet is on the bottom, so it has to be fed in with pressure and go out the top. And so this works with very low pressure. I may just open this up and modify it so I can put this upside down, and just when the water flows through there, I can make it so I can just turn it on, and then so I could just use gravity fed tankless water heater. But that's the idea with that. But I may not need it because the water is already going to be probably at a comfortable temperature anyway. So I'm going to experiment with those things, but I just wanted to show at least this concept. And I'm excited about it just because it's basically people already use this concept, but I wanted to be able to use it in a home and test it out, see how it works, work out all the things that don't work, whatever it is. And the other idea is I've got to figure out a way to feed that tank, and I may have to use my RV pump for a water tank on the bottom, and then it'll feed that one up there, or just use the hose water from my house or something. So I'm working out ideas with that. But there it is. So you can maybe take off with your own ideas with this idea in mind, and we'll see how this develops. The other thing I wanted in a water heater, tankless water heater, was a very low wattage one, because I may be able to modify that on this as well. Because what I was thinking was this temperature in this water, it's not like this is heating up really cold groundwater from the city, and so I just need maybe a few more degrees from the water heater, and it doesn't have to overwork, or I don't need a big electric source. So I wanted to have a minimal electric source for this, And then since this water temperature on the tank is going to be, I don't know, 65, 70, I don't know how warm it's going to be up there at all times, even during the winter. But if it's already that warm, it's just going to need just a slight more, just a little bit of electricity just to warm it up just a little bit more. And so that's what I was thinking about. But I haven't seen a water heater that exists like that, of what I was thinking. The gravity fed plus the low wattage one that'll work with this. So I may just figure out how to modify this one or something. And I should point out also the research that I did with this rain head, shower head, and I wanted this to be the holes to be open enough for the water to go in with no pressure at all. And so the gravity fed water will just go right through it and rain down. And I did put water through it, and it works just fine. So I found this online. This is like $10, $8 or $9 or $10. So it wasn't that much. It's stainless steel. So I'm very pleased with this. Very cheap and effective. So I needed to point that out, because that was a major part of this whole system to work, is getting that so just as the water falls through, it'll just kind of trickle down. And it'll still work with water pressure too, so either way, it was a good decision. I'm back here at my back here at this barn. I'll see what's salvageable. I just need to do a few more things in my tiny house, and so I just need some of those 1-inch 1x12s or whatever they are for the baseboard. Looks like the derecho kind of helped it settle down a little bit, so I'm probably not as worried about some of the other stuff. Should be stronger. I don't know, still kind of collapsing, but we'll see what's salvageable and then go from there. So this is what I salvaged. I think that'll work for the rest of the side on the walls. But I've dug around, I've found a bunch of rustic stuff and old barn stuff. So I suggested to them that they just sell whatever is there, and then some people might even come over and just pick apart the rest of it. So I don't think they really know that this stuff can sell to some people who want it. So the first glance of looking at this wood, it's kind of borderline not useful. And I was almost, I don't know, questioning if it's going to be useful. When you clean it up and wipe it down and stuff, it looks a lot better. So I'm encouraged by that. You just got to see some potential in just the good parts of this wood. And I got some of this to work with too. It's going to go down on the whatever you call it. The bottom part of this wall. Wainscoting, that's the word. keep forgetting that word. But I was able to get about 30 something inches from to the ground to the floor, so that was my goal, is to at least get as far as I can, at least 30 something inches, and so I got that. So the wainscoting down there will look a lot better. Some of this I won't even need trimming on it because it already looks okay. I mean, even the corners, well, I don't mind it looking like that when it's just up against it itself, I'll probably put like a little trimming here, but don't need much. That's what I was hoping for, and I probably won't stain any of it. It's already dark enough, and I'll probably just put some polyurethane over it, protect it and waterproof it, and that's pretty much all I was really caring about. But I am loving this rustic barn wood feel, because since this is my first time doing this, I mean, you can't go wrong even with it looking like this. And you make mistakes and it looks better. It's pretty fun, actually. What I'm working on now is these boards down here for the wainscoting. I have to figure out a way for the in-between stud part. There's nothing for it to hold fast onto, so I need to probably put another piece of board under it, right over that, so I'll have something to stick onto. It will stick out a little bit because of that. I want to avoid that, and I think what I'm having to do is just set it all up and do the whatever you call it, the chair rail thing right above it, and then just fasten it onto that in sections. I'll probably do that. So I'm just getting creative with this. This is one thing I have to figure out, because this is the only wood I could really work with. I wish I had more of this, but I just don't. But today I'm going to be concentrating on cleaning this wood because it's really dirty, and I probably won't stain this because it's already pretty dark. I'm just going to put polyurethane over it to give it a waterproof thing, a finish type look, and then that will be it. For the walls anyway. I am still working on the ceiling part. I have just those two sections left for the bubble wrap stuff, and then I have to figure out how I'm going to find materials for covering the roof area. I haven't figured that out because I'm going to need quite a bit of it. I wish I can find more of this stuff because that would work perfectly, just long pieces of it. But I can't find anything that's quality enough to go all the way, and enough of it. So I'll have to get creative with that. Maybe drywall. I just don't want to do drywall that much. I did figure out electricity. Finally, when I got the power coming in from that 30 amp old water heater in there, the electric one, I just strung out a 30 amp wire, and it's powering the two 15 amps in there. So I'm not going to do any videos on that other than just telling you what I did there, because there's so many videos out there about electricity, so you can find for yourself. Eventually I won't have to use this anymore because I want to get it off grid, and but that I finally figured out the plugs and I got power out of it. I still have to figure out some lights and stuff to put up there, developing that idea. So that's where I'm at. And I just probably showed this before of the stuff I collected. I'm going to use that somewhere, perhaps on the, whatever you call it, balcony, or I'll probably this hole here is going to be similar of what I was thinking about where the stairs are going to go up. stairs will probably go up this way. So I just have to creatively think on the fly. I kind of have a basic idea of what to do. I'm about to concentrate on the floor here, put some screws in, all this thick OSB stuff. I'm always thinking of reasons to put a layer down, and I have to emphasize the floor, especially with insulation. That's what I'm talking about, especially with a design like this where it's off the ground and the wind gets in there. Just like a camper or anything like that, you have to insulate the floor really well, and then I'll have to go around and put some kind of wind blocking thing under it, just so it prevents that wind from getting in there. And then I'm always thinking of ways to put a layer down. I already showed in previous videos that I've put a layer of this down on top of the subfloor, whatever, the treated plywood, and then the plywood, and then this stuff, which is about 1.5 inches or something thick. It's pretty thick. And then I'm going to put some underlayment stuff, and then the flooring on top of that. So I'm going to have plenty of layers, and then I'll probably even put an area rug with a heater area rug under it. I'll do another video on that probably, but it was, I don't know what they're called, but they're a heat pad that goes under the area rug. So I was going to do it that way, so it adds another layer, plus the heat will rise up through the floor and doesn't take up any space. I'll explain that later, but I'm going to secure these down with screws because I know these are going to squeak as I walk on it, and that's just common practice on the subfloor. Just to get, you have to use screws and not nails. So I wanted to make sure I got all of these screwed down and secured before I did anything. And then the next, I'll work on the next steps later, but I know I need to get that secure. I painted the stain. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it in here because it's dark. Getting darker. Honestly, I wouldn't have gone with this dark of stain. But on the can it says light brown, and it looks a lot lighter than what this looks like. I don't know, maybe it's the color of the wood that made it darker, but that's okay. I'll live with it. Looking a lot more uniform color wise, and this is the point where I'm like, wow, this is something I'm doing, and it's actually looking pretty good. I think you might surprise yourself if you jump in and do something like this. So now I have to work on the baseboards, and you can kind of see where I'm going with it. I was going to flip the boards over and utilize that barnwood painted look to it, and then it's going to transition into the panels on the bottom. So I might have kind of a white type of thing like the door's doing there. I didn't even plan on that, but the door already has kind of a brown, white, silver look to it. So I might do a brown, white everywhere, and then the lights, the LED lights that I'll get will be white. So it'll give kind of, the white fixtures will kind of give it an accent every once in a while. And then I might do some white trim around that. So it's kind of happened to work out that way. But these other boards, I have enough to go around one more time, and it gives me kind of a transition into the wainscoting into the, and I didn't even plan on that either. I just kind of worked out. So, and by the way, I was working on my shower again. I was actually planning on abandoning this whole idea because I wasn't going to be able to fit in the door. But I went through some ideas and I thought I could probably do this as long as I can get it the door width wide. Cut these down in half and then found these little connections that fit this. So it'll be detachable and then portable. So this is a little more elaborate portable shower, but I really wanted to utilize this, and it goes with the white and rustic galvanized steel look anyways, so it might work out well on there. And I might put some boards on the side of this just to kind of make it blend in, but it'll have a rustic industrial style to it. But the shower is just going to be amazing, and the first idea with this was just it's going to be self-contained and everything's going to just drain out the one tube, and might have a composting toilet in there as well. But I just wanted to use this because I won't have to build anything else in there, and it'll be wide open, nice shower, gravity fed, don't need pressure. It's going to be amazing. So on this chair rail, whatever you call it, for the wainscoting, I'm just using this polyurethane clear coat finish stuff. And what this is going to do, it'll seal it, but it's also going to retain that nice, stylish white paint on there, so it's not flaking off. So I'll just get it a nice shine, but it's not going to be making a mess. I want this whole inside of this tiny house to be waterproof, water resistant, just because I'll be showering in there, and I don't know, or cooking, and the steam will come out of the whatever I'm cooking. So I want to make sure things are sealed up good. So these sister missionaries, this is Sister Majors. Hello. And Sister Fiame. She has helped me before, so we're working on the inside, just doing the finish coat of the polyurethane stuff. So awesome. Now that I got that on there, it's looking really, really nice. And since I haven't done this before, I don't have any experience in knowing what results are going to be, and so I imagine it was going to work well and keep the paint stuck on there and stuff. And you could see this stuff at Home Depot, Menards, and all that stuff, and they sell this for quite a bit of money, and it's just basically a printed on laminate that they sell, and it looks just like this. So I'm so glad I was able to get this for free and just smooth it on. It looks good. Very satisfying feeling. Alright, home stretch. I'm starting on the underlayment and then the floor stuff. I'll put the sides in later so I have the right measurement. Because once I get the floorboards on there, then the paneling will just go on top of that, and then I'll just tack it in. So it'll be easy access if I want to take this off and repair something or whatever. So it'll be, or modify something. But this is, to be honest, gets very unmotivating sometimes because I have to go. I can't do all this in one day. Each little piece of it I have to do every other day or something, because I have to get materials, figure out pricing, resources, color, I just have to factor in all those things. so it just takes forever. That's just the reality of it. But I'm anxious to get this laid in there. Next week is going to be a little bit colder, so I need to get living in here. And just wait to see what I have for the shower. It's going to be amazing. Okay, floor is complete. I can't get all the footage as I do it because I just don't have enough capacity on my computer anymore, but I'll just give you a glimpse of the progression every once in a while. Oh man, that was not that hard. It was just hard to motivate myself to keep going with this because I calculated it short a little bit, so I had to go to the store again and do the rest of it the next day. So the rest of it should be pretty quick. I don't know. I moved in ahead of schedule. Started getting into around the freezing temperatures. The only thing I've left is the trimming on the bottom here and some on the sides. But I could work around this. Since I don't have a furnace or a water heater in my house, I knew I needed to accelerate my my move-in process. So I stayed in here last night for the first time. And all I really needed was that space heater. And it worked fine. I'll work on other heating ideas. But just have a few more touches. And I'm working on my shower. I'm going to have that finished up. But all the rest of the stuff is pretty much stuff I could work on while I'm in here. I just needed to get in here quick. I was not looking forward to being in the house, the drafty house, in the cold again without a furnace. So that's where we're at. I was actually really grateful last night. I was expressing gratefulness to God and just filled with, I think this is the first time I've ever been in a place of my own, rent-free, mortgage-free, without any drafts, and some of the comforts. I'm actually feeling like I'm starting to live, and I have no drafts. There might be a little bit under the door, a little bit, but the window had nothing blowing. I had this cloth up for a temporary curtain, and I didn't see it going in or out or anything. So, and I have yet to still seal up some things. So that was good. I'm glad that was the major part of this. I wanted to get it all sealed up so there's no drafts whatsoever, and I could just work with it from there. But my imagination started turning about how I was going to do the rest of his stuff, and so I'll just keep working on it throughout the winter. The first use that I thought of for this Graphene Super module was just running this pump to supply the water for my RV tank up there. And it's working just like a battery. I've only had it on there for a few minutes, but I'll hook it back up. So it runs this RV battery, or the RV pump really well. And it is pumping water. I just need to figure out a better configuration for the pumps and stuff. But I just wanted to show what I was using this Graphene Super capacitor for. And it was at almost 16 volts, and now it's 15.6. And I ran it for, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes. So if I had like several, I would say 3 or 4, I don't know. I would hope to get more, but it'd just be too much money to get all of them at once. But it would stack up. You would hook them all in parallel, and it would last quite a bit longer. But this only has about 75 watt hours on it. But just quick charges. I'll have to figure out how to charge the thing too.